And welcome back. As you can see, I've managed to get the outgoing track enclosed in glass, and this way, by the time the cart leaving the building is actually out of the enclosure, it's high enough off the ground and moving fast enough that anything wandering around out here is not going to be a problem. I'm still going to have to replace the dirt on that ramp with cobblestone or something, because it just doesn't look right as dirt. But that's just something to work on. In the meanwhile, I have done a lot of thinking about the station and how to go about getting it finished right. And I've come to the conclusion that there is one crucial mistake I've made, and that is that basically everything you see here on this floor, I'm going to have to tear it out and move it up 2 blocks. And the reason I say that is because obviously I'm going to want to do things like hide the redstone torches underneath of the track. And the redstone wiring that is going to be necessary here for these curved pieces for track selection, and the wires that go from there to over that way where there will be a row of switches to select each track. All of that's going to have to be hidden, and in order to do that, it's going to actually have to lay on this floor. Otherwise it's going to be hanging down into the from the ceiling. It's going to be hanging down from the ceiling and the floor below, and that just isn't going to look good at all. And so what I'm going to have to do is all of this glass floor, I'm going to have to tear it out and replace it with smooth stone. And then there will be an empty space where redstone wiring, redstone torches, and so on will be placed. And then above that will be a new floor of sandstone. And as you can see here, I was trying out the looks of both the smooth stone and the sandstone in the station construction, and I've decided to go ahead and go with the sandstone, just simply because it kind of looks better, I think. It stands out from the smooth stone because, let's face it, people use smooth stone in everything. And this is just a teensy bit different. So that's what I'm going to go with there. And these blocks you see over here, these represent where additional tracks will go. You have track 1 is going to come in right there, and that's where it's going to stay too. And then here is where track 2 will be, and over here is track 3, and track 4, and track 5, and so on, until once I get down to here, I'm going to tear this out and extend the whole thing over to this far wall, which will give me room for 11 or 12 tracks. It will make it a major station. The inbound, the arrivals, yes. This arrivals track and that ramp will be going up against that far wall. And then, of course, this wall will be extending over that way. The stairwell and doorway from the level below may end up having to be moved. I'm not certain yet. And that's pretty much what I'm going to have to do. It's going to have to be a lot of tearing out and replacing, and basically tear this whole thing down and move it up 2 blocks. It's going to be a lot of work now, but it would be even more work later on when I'm wanting to bring new tracks in. This way I can get everything all set up, the placeholders for the new tracks, have them all wired up and everything, so that when it comes time to add a new track to the system, all I have to do is run it in here and connect it to one of these spots here, which will already be set up with track and switching and everything. So it's time to get out the smooth stone, break all of this glass, and get to it on some major redesign here. Let's see. All right. I'm going to get to this, and I'll catch up with you when I'm done with it. And welcome back. I'm finished with changing out the floor there. Something occurred to me. Well, for one thing, I have been fighting with that door that goes up onto the second level at the staircase, and actually a couple of other doors, and it occurs to me that if I made them into double doors, they'd present less of an obstacle. And come to think of it, I was looking at something else too, and I had a thought about a way to kind of give the building a little bit of distinction, a little bit of its own unique character. And so, I'm going to give that a try and see how it looks. Okay, here's an example of part of what I was talking about. I was getting the smooth stone floor in here and replacing the glass and just taking it all the way out to the edge of the building. And it occurred to me that, frankly, that could look better. It's not that this looks bad, but I had an idea for something that I think would look pretty cool. So I'm going to give it a try here. You may recall that I have mentioned that I wanted to use obsidian as a construction material. And this is one example. Just replace this part of the smooth stone around the edge of the building, around the edge of this floor. Yes, I like that. I think it looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and extend that all the way around. Get some use out of all this obsidian that I've spent so much time mining, farming, whatever. Yes, I think that's going to look good. Now, I had another thought too. So I'm going to extend that stripe all the way around the building at that floor level. But I also thought that replacing the glass at the building corners with obsidian all the way up the building. Let's see. Get some cobblestone here. I think this will help give some definition where there wasn't any before, because as I've mentioned before, this glass from a distance you can hardly see it really. But on the other hand, that corner of the building being made of obsidian, it stands out. You can actually say, hey, there's where the edge of the building is. So I think I'm going to do that on these other corners. Now granted, down by the ground level here, it doesn't show a lot of difference, but it will, because this area is going to have to be cleared out some to not crowd the building quite as much as it does. All right. Excellent. Yeah, I think that's going to look good. Oh yes, I think that's definitely going to help a lot. Oh, and here I thought I was aiming for the deep part of it. I guess it wasn't as deep as I thought. Okay, I get it all. Almost. Okay, that qualifies as the dumb move of the day. Brought to you by your friends at Frobuzz Electric. Ugh. Okay, I'll have to mine those two pieces later. That's gonna take a few minutes, and I don't feel like doing it right now. Alright. As I said, I've got the floor finished, converting it up to glass there. And one of the things that I wanted to do is I've been fighting with this doorway, trying to get through it. And so I'm going to make another door, and this will become a double doorway. There. That'll be easier to get through. In the meanwhile, as I said, the floor is all converted from glass, and the building corner extended over that way. And my next step is going to be to start getting this stuff moved up 2 blocks. And I thought that what I would do is kind of make it a little easier on myself when it comes to moving this mechanism upwards and still having it work, is that what I would do is just build another one right next to this one, 2 blocks higher, before tearing the old one down, build a new one where it's supposed to be. So let's get some sandstone and get about doing that. Okay. And a little temporary ramp to get up there. Okay. Okay, let's get these carts out of there. All right. Trapdoor. That one goes on the block above the door. Okay. And this one goes on the block below the door. No, not there. There. Okay. And now proceed to tear this old one out and get some floor under there and start hooking up the new one. Well, as you can see, I've gotten kind of a start on it. I've got the basis of the new floor height. The dispenser works, and this area works, and so on. I think this button, though, I don't like it. Having it high up, one block high like that is fine, but this close to the track is just, well, you tell me. Is that a little claustrophobic or what? It kind of feels a little claustrophobic to me, so I think I'm going to do this like I did before and just put it right there in the glass and do it that way. That's going to be better. Much better. Easy to reach and so on. It's not right up in your face, though. That'll work. And I gotta tell you, doing things like this with this floor still actually under construction is making it so much easier to deal with the redstone. And I have also found, by the way, that yes, that sandstone is quite fragile. But that's not what I was talking about. Let me fix that. And now, cart on the detector rail, and you watch the redstone here. Go ahead and pull this out, put a piece of redstone in its place. I discovered how to tell for certain that you need the repeater. You follow the redstone, you see the way it's active and so on. And you go over here, and it gets darker and less active, and up here it's completely dark and not active at all. So this line is definitely a little long like I thought it was, and it absolutely needs that repeater. See, now it's brightened up and it's active. Okay, so I'm making progress. I'm going to have to mine up some more sandstone, though. I'm starting to run out. And I'm going to need quite a bit to do this whole floor of sandstone. But there's a desert next to the mining base, and there's a lot of sandstone there, so I will be mining that up and using it in this floor. In the meanwhile, that's in place. I'll have to extend that out and run the track over here to hook it up to track 1. I've also figured out something, too, that this arrangement here, I had it completely wrong. Yes, it worked for a single track, but for multiple tracks with switching on these curve pieces, it's not working right, I don't think. There is a way to do it. Let's put it this way. There is a way to do it without needing the detector rail here that will automatically route incoming carts off that way to go up that ramp and be sent over to the dispenser after the passenger gets out. And then outgoing will automatically, this piece right here, the curved piece there, will be switched one way or the other depending on whether that track is selected and so on. And that will happen by way of a switch on a wall over there, a line of redstone with a repeater or two, and a redstone torch underneath the curved piece to handle the switching. And I had that all wrong. It will be a whole lot simpler doing it that way than the fight I had the other day with this detector rail. So I'll get there. Like I said, I'm going to have to mine up a bunch of sandstone to have the material to work with, and then I'm going to go ahead and have to make up a bunch more powered rail and regular track, and I'm going to go ahead and set the track up and the switching and so on for each of the eventual places where there will be outgoing tracks. So there's a lot to do, but there is a lot of progress being made here too. It's starting to shape up. In a few days, it'll actually start being ready to actually work, even though it won't entirely be finished. So I'm going to go ahead and start mining up that sandstone and get this thing in gear. And also, I've been meaning to mention this for 2 or 3 videos now, that I really need to give credit where it's due, because I have to say right up, this is not my original design. I am basing this on something that Simple Gamers did in his Let's Play series a few weeks ago. A station that he built at one of his bases. It worked a lot like this, and that's what I'm basing this design on. It's a simple, effective design that works, and once I get this thing put together, it will be very good. And the link to the videos where he did that and the tutorial he did for that design will be in the description as well. Take it easy. We'll catch you next time.